And so your sign to Metallica helped a lot of other metal bands.
Well, it helped a lot of other metal bands.
Okay.
And what it also did was a lot of A&R people were not afraid to be adventurous in their signings and sign their own version of what they thought was the next big thing.
And what was that next 5 years like with Metallica and you?
So let's see, it's 84 to 89. Okay, well, it blew up. They were the talk of the town. Not only were they the talk of the town, they were selling out gigs everywhere. Fast forward a little bit, it's 1986, and Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne had seen Metallica, and they wanted them to open up the Ozzy tour in the United States. And they did. And they were playing now, because of Ozzy, 20,000 seat places like Madison Square Garden in New York City. By September of 86, when they were on tour in Europe, that's when things went bad. Because whether our viewers know or not, things still get you after like 33 years. There was a young man in the band, Cliff Burton. He was the bass player. Fabulous musician, fabulous. And it was late night in Sweden, and the bus went on some black ice. It overturned, and the bus killed him.
Wow.
Can you imagine what that's like to 21-year-olds who lost their brother, their fellow musician, and they're riding high. They're the talk. Everybody wants to see Metallica. Everybody wants to find the Metallica. But what happens is he dies. The next day, everybody's on their way back home to San Francisco. I fly out to San Francisco a day or two later, and there was a funeral, a burial, and even other bands felt their hearts were so heavy because everybody loved Cliff. It's extraordinary.
Wow.
Took a moment or two. They didn't know if they wanted to go on or just whatever. But it was, I don't think young people like that had ever experienced mourning that deep. It's like, like I said, a fellow musician, a brother. A band is a family. So that happened. Then I don't know if I'm not great with time sometimes. And about 6 or 8 months later, Lars called and said, we're going to move forward. We've decided. So Brian Slagle from Metal Blade Records and myself both spoke to them about a young man named Jason Newsted. He was also in a band called Flotsam and Jetsam, who I just signed to Elektra. Now, of course, I didn't want to lose him having just signed that band, but I just also had that feeling, you know what? Jason's going to fit into this thing beautifully. And he did. And he was with Metallica about 15 years.
Wow.
And he was badass. He was also one of those charismatic people on stage that he knew how to wow the people from the stage, and they loved Jason. So
as the A&R guy, you're like family, really. I mean, you're...
Sometimes you can be, or sometimes you're just a business person to these people. Okay. And sometimes if you're a business person, perhaps you're a lot older, and it is a business to the A&R person. But I just always felt like, like I said, I love music so much. I wanted to be involved with all aspects of it. So it always just wound up working out beautifully for me. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, just to finish with Metallica, how do you describe then up till now? I mean, that's like 40 or 30 years later, like, have they just continued to evolve?
Like I said, in 83, 84, and now in 2019, they're a very different animal. I mean, it's so professional, and the musicianship just continued to grow all the time. And, some people talk about them and say, well, those records don't sound like the first 3 records. But when you're that big a success, you can't continue to make those same 3 records because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So they always experimented. They always tried something different each and every record. The records always sold, sometimes not as good as the last one. But I think that one of the changing points and one of the pivotal records that they made, I believe in 1990, was called the Black Album. And that had the hit on it, enter Sandman. And who would know from the early days that they would then have like a top 40 hit? But that's also a very extraordinary record that Bob Rock produced for them. And then right after that, I had left Elektra to go to Geffen Records for a period of time.
Okay, so that relationship with them kind of stopped.
Yes, but I would go see them live, but nothing business after that.